All right. Welcome to Sideboard MTG. My name's Eric, and you're watching live Ravnica Allegiance spoilers here on YouTube Gaming. Okay, we left off last night on Sunder Shaman, so we're gonna pick up from there and head forward. Don't forget to hit that like button if you do like the show. If you want to subscribe so you know when I'm going live with the next set of spoilers tomorrow night, then you can hit the subscribe button as well. But for right now, we're gonna start off with the last spoiler from last night and move forward from there. Everyone got a chance to see Sunder Shaman. Those of you that might have left the show a little bit early, because this came out like right at the end of the show. Sunder Shaman can't be blocked by more than one creature, and when it deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. And it's the Gruul double 4 mana 5/5. I like some 4 mana 5/5s. Card looks really good. It actually looks really playable. You know, destruction on a stick. If this thing had, I mean, you don't even need trample. It can't be blocked by more than one creature. So yeah, maybe you do need trample. So they stick a little chump blocker in front of it and you still get through. But yeah. Either way, that was our last spoiler from yesterday. We get to start off with some Planeswalker deck cards. I do assume these are Planeswalker deck cards. I'm not 100%, but they got some lines of text in them that we've come to kind of associate with Planeswalker deck cards. Most Planeswalker decks have their chosen Planeswalker and then a search card, like a tutor card for those. And this is what this looks like. Dovin's Dismissal here. We get a 4 mana instant speed. Put up to one target tapped creature on top of its owner's library. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Dovin, Architect of Law, reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. Pretty straightforward, you know, 4 mana bounce, time walk. You know, they're going to have to redraw that card again, like we mentioned with, you know, one of the other cards in the spoiler set here. That you know, that's a really good effect. 4 mana instant speed, so you get to do it at the end of their turn or something like that, and then get your Dovin. It seems like a nice little piece of tech to have in your Planeswalker deck. All right, next here, I'm not thinking this is a Planeswalker deck card, but it could be. We have a Elite Arrestor, which is a 1 mana 0/3. So, you know, if you're needing a way to buy some time, this is a really good one. You get to, you know, block something and then, you know, maybe at end of turn, tap down something else so that you can start getting in with your creatures or you know, something along those lines. But 0/3 is a decent body. It doesn't create an attacker for you. This will always be a defensive, you know, card unless you can start putting +1/+1 counters on it. The creature type is human soldier. I don't think that's going to be really relative. There are a ton of humans and a ton of soldiers in Standard right now, and a lot of ways that you could buff those. So, I mean, you might be able to do something with it. But 1 blue mana and 1 colorless, tap target creature, not bad. So, is the set number over 259? You know what? I want to say, give me a moment, and I can get you the answer for that. I'm pretty sure. Where is it at? Where is it at? Yes, 259 plus. So we've got 9 new spoilers, but I do believe the max number in the set's 259. So yeah, I think so. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's a 259 card set. Anyway, oh, is the set number over 259? Because that would be, gotcha. All right. Well, this is a 268, something like that. As long as you control a Dovin Planeswalker, Dovin Automaton gets +2/+2 and has Vigilance, 4 mana 3/3. Thank you, Sir Elks. It took me a moment to realize what you were saying there, sir. If the set number's over 259, then it's a Planeswalker deck card. Gotcha. Yeah. This is a Planeswalker deck card. So as long as you have your Dovin Planeswalker, it is a 4 mana 5/5 with Vigilance. It's not horrible. Artifact creature, Homunculus artifact. Homunculus? I guess it could be anything, right? It's homunculus. Let's go back and check the Elite Arrestor. I want to see the set number on that. Yes, this is also a 260 something, so this is also a Planeswalker deck card. Alright, next we're going to go to Domri's Notarog? Is that right? Domri's Notarog. 5 mana, 5/2 with Trample. It's a beast. And whenever it enters the battlefield, you may search your library or graveyard for a card named Domri City Smasher. Reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. So, yeah. This is the Domri version of the first card we looked at. So that'll tutor Domri up. It's a 5 mana, 5/2 that draws you a card, a specific card. Not bad. All right, next here we've got a. I know I'm kind of going through these a little bit quick. This is 270, so this is also a Planeswalker deck card. 3 mana, 3/1 with haste, and as long as you control Domri Planeswalker, charging board gets +1/+1 and has trample. This could technically be playable. This is not absolutely horrible, and if you're playing Domri anyway, it doesn't require you to be playing the Planeswalker deck Domri. So, I mean, this gives you a 3 mana 4/2 if you have Domri out, and it could be a 3 mana 5/3 if Domri's out, because you're going to use Domri's +1 to give it, you know, to give it Riot, and it already has haste, so I assume you're going to pick the +1/+1 instead of giving it a second instance of haste. So I mean that's not horrible. I mean, if you have Domri out, this is instantly a you know, a 5/3. So that's not bad. Well, assuming you upticked, but yeah, this is not as bad as it may look, even though it's a Planeswalker deck card. And those are legal in Standard, as far as I know. I mean, I've rarely ever sleeved up Planeswalker deck cards. Normally just Flame Lash or something like that. Dev always put Flame Lash in these decks, and it was something that was really hard for us to get on manatraders. So, like, out of all of the Planeswalker deck cards we've seen so far, that one looks the most played. It's a 3 mana 3/1 any other time. Still don't think it'll see play. It's a 3 mana 3/1 with haste, and if there's a haste deck out there, you might want it. It's in Gruul, and Gruul has a ton of ways of doing other things to their creatures. It may be more nasty than you think. With trample and haste, that's right. A 3 mana 5/3 with trample and haste. I forgot about the trample. Yes. You think people will try to make Domri work, but he won't get there? You don't think Domri's like good enough? Maybe not. Maybe not. Here's another Planeswalker deck card. I don't like this one. This is Ragefire. 2 mana, Lightning Strike. Not even Lightning Strike. I mean, it's only to target creature. 3 damage to target creature for 2 mana at sorcery speed. Blah. Come on. You could have just put Lightning Strike in the deck. It would have been better than this. And that's a question that I've got. Like, if R&D said we can't put Lightning Strike in here, let's put Ragefire in instead. Like, do they just need to print Ragefire, or did they go, no, them having instant speed burn might be a little bit too much? So did R&D like naturally take this out? So if you buy the Planeswalker deck, one of the first upgrades you should do is just instantly upgrade this to Lightning Strike. Because I assume there's a reason that they didn't put Lightning Strike. I mean, it's not like it would have killed everyone for, you know, Lightning Strike to be printed again. I mean, it's like a, you know, 5-cent card already. So, makes me think, like, this would definitely be one of the things that I would upgrade immediately when I got the deck, if I wanted to play the deck. But then again, some people do not like changing those decks because it changes the balance between the two. All right, so out of the spoilers I got a chance to look at today, this was the one that I was the happiest about. I really like this card. I think it's going to be a really good top end for, you know, that Mardu Aristocrats, Rakdos Aristocrats deck that I've been seeing, you know, kind of take shape here in all the spoilers. This is another piece to that puzzle. This is a 4 mana instant speed, and we'll check some wording here in just a moment, but there's some wording that might make this really, really good. Okay, instant speed, put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so first off, if you do what I'm about to mention, you're just going to be forfeiting the line where it says +2/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So we're just going to forfeit that if we cast this at the beginning of their end step, or so, you know, during their end step we cast this spell, we pull back a creature, we pass turn, we get to keep it all the way through our upkeep. So there's going to be some creatures out there that you're going to want that. Take for example, like if you're taking their Doom Whisperer, it might be worth it to do this at the end of their turn so that you have the maximum amount of mana available with that Doom Whisperer, and plus you have time to go ahead and like surveil a couple times or something of that nature, so that you can, you know, guarantee your next draw is going to be what you're wanting it to be. So, you know, that's pretty sweet. However, if you're going to take something like Carnage Tyrant, it may just be better to do it, you know, on your turn. Just go ahead, you know, take their Carnage Tyrant out of their graveyard. Go ahead and give that big, you know, that +2/+0 in haste. Swing in with Carnage Tyrant. You know, that's 9 power just coming in. That's a lot of power. And then sacrifice it and move on. Now that might be the better play. However, if the creature's something like a Niv Mizzet or something that has an effect, you know, that you want to take advantage of before your draw step, you can always sacrifice, you know, the +2/+0 in haste, because you're still going to be able to swing with it. It's going to be there during your next turn as long as you do it in their end step. So you'll get to keep it until the beginning of your end step, which is pretty sweet. We don't see this wording, you know, in the beginning of the next end step. We see it occasionally, but we don't see it on a lot of things. We used to do this a lot with Mimic Vat, one of my favorite cards ever. It's definitely on my top 5 list for just favorite cards ever. You would make creatures on their end step, and they would stick around until the beginning of your end step. So it's kind of like Unlicensed Disintegration with possibly more upside, but overall not as good. Okay, so like you take their creature and block with it or something like that. What if you take their Ravenous Chupacabra, kill this over here? Your Ravenous Chupacabra is a 4/2, block their thing, and you know that all seems really, really good, right? Like there's some effects right there. Plus, when you sacrifice this creature, if you have like your Judith or something like that out, or one of your other payoffs for, you know, Aristocrats or something, which is kind of where I see this, you're going to get that effect as well. So there could be a ton of play behind this card. I think this card is really, really good. And Tristani will leave behind 2 bodies if you take that, right? Like, there are a ton of really, really cool cards. So, this card could have been a rare, right? Like, it's well worded. Again, like, there's some options in there, right? We don't just have to do it on their turn. We don't just have to do it on our turn. We don't, like, there's a ton of different places you could cast this card. And that is like that hallmark signature for me of a really, really good card when I have versatility on when I play it and how I play it. That gives you more options so that you can make, you know, more decisions with the card. Might make it a harder card to play with, however, it will make it a better card overall. So I really like this. Midnight Reaper and the new sack outlet makes this card good. Right. Rush said he will abuse this. This is exactly what he's looking for. Like, Rush is the one that always wanted us to have, like, Kari Zeb's expertise. He loves taking the opponent's stuff. you know, steel and sack decks, that's definitely his style of play, and I know it's definitely a lot of other people's style of play because that video got a ton of hits. You know, a lot of people liked that, you know, steel and sack deck that that Dev made and we played. So, like, again, this is exactly the type of card that people are going to have fun with. I like this card. There's a lot going on for this, so I'm going to leave it at that and just kind of move on. But it's good to see that everyone else likes this card as much as I do. So probably more powerful than some mythics. Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely more powerful than some of the mythics we've seen. As like most, man, there's some bad cards in this set, but there's some also really good cards. Take for example this Neckbreaker here. So this sideways split card has a couple really sweet effects, and it's instant speed on both of them. So let's take a look at Collision Colossus. All right, for one Gruul hybrid mana and one colorless, you get an instant speed, deal 6 damage to target creature with flying. Cool, cool. And then Colossus, Gruul colors, so 1 green and 1 red for instant speed. Target creature gets +4/+2, gains trample until end of turn. So against flying decks that might be able to get over your Gruul deck, you can shoot those out of the air. This is big enough to kill Doom Whisperer, Lyra, a ton of cards. Like pretty much every big creature that is being played, you can kill it with this. 6 damage, that'll take care of your Niv Mizzets. It takes care of, like I said, Doom Whisperer and Niv Mizzet, along with you know, Nicol Bolas, any of the dragons. Yeah, this is the uncommon. The rare version of the Gruul split card was also really good. So another really good card. And then when you're not needing it to defend yourself from the flyers trying to get over your board state, you can use the other half of it to just push damage straight down your opponent's throat. And that's awesome. I mean, putting +4/+2 and trample on probably one of your huge creatures anyway, come on. Like, Carnage Tyrant gets this, and all of a sudden Carnage Tyrant, you know, blocks another Carnage Tyrant or swings through another Carnage Tyrant. This is going to be real serious. So, Catito, message retracted. Darn phone is hard to type on. It is. It is. I hate typing on phones. If you guys ever see me messaging in, you know, other YouTubers and stuff, content, you'll see typos galore, and it's because, like, me and my phone just don't get along. You want y'all's thoughts? You want our thoughts on Eyes Everywhere? Okay. All right. We'll check it out. This card's really good. Really good. I mean, just the versatility of play alone. This is good to defend, and this is good to assault with. So, like, we're seeing more and more of that, and I think that might have a lot to do with, you know, arena play. Like I said originally, I was thinking that, you know, Magic itself, like having cards being altered because of arena play, might not be the greatest thing in the world. You know, having cards designed with arena play in mind might not be the greatest thing in the world. However, we're probably about to see a serious power creep in cards due to that. If we are leaning more towards best of one Magic, then each card is going to need to be more versatile, right? And that's going to be something that I'm actually looking for in a lot of cards, is versatility. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, giving me the ability to choose when and how I use a particular card increases that card's value for me. And you know, we're seeing all the split cards. They typically, you know, allow you to do two completely different, you know, game plans. One's normally, you know, game plan better versus a control deck, and the other one's game plan better versus either an aggro or a mid-range deck or something of that nature. So again, you know, versatility amongst cards. Are we going to see a huge power creep? And if so, what does that do to past cards, right? Like, does that just destroy Modern when all of a sudden these really powerful cards get into Modern? We'll see. We will see. We're already seeing like Arclight Phoenix decks and things like that being played in Modern. So I'm not saying that this card in particular would be Modern playable, but then again, I mean, there's going to be some cards that are going to make it to modern. So, all right, uh, I'm gonna move on to um, Rally to Battle. Which card were you asking about, Kedito? Eyes Everywhere. All right. Well, we will definitely get Eyes Everywhere in like 5 more cards. So here is Rally to Battle. 4 mana instant speed. Creatures you control get +1/+3 until end of turn. Untap them. I love untap them. Oh my goodness, I love seeing that. There is nothing scarier than swinging into your opponent's board and then them casting a spell going, hold on a minute, let me untap all these before blockers. Whoa, whoa, the whole point of me swinging was because you couldn't block me. Well, now it's, now it might be something a little different there. I mean, we might have to play around this. I know it's 4 mana, and that's probably not going to get a ton of play, but creatures you control get +1/+3 until end of turn. Most of them are going to live through a fight. I know this because that's exactly how much defense that dive down gives, and the amount of times I've had to cast dive down on a creature just to save it in combat or to make it profitably trade, or make it, yeah, profitably, win combat is pretty serious, and dive down normally gets you there. So this giving all of your creatures, that extra boost plus untapping them, that's pretty good. Protection from Clarion and Settle. I don't know if it protects from Settle, but it does protect from Seal Away. I mean, if they're swinging in, I mean, you're not going to protect them from Settle. They're still attacking. But from Seal Away, which has to target a tapped creature. Adds Bluff with Settle. Gotcha. That is definitely true. I thought about that. The good old, LSV pin trick, right? Use your flipped Adonto as your Settle pin trick. I like it. All in all, though, this is a pretty cool card. Best of one will either be an option for new players, or it will simply be another option. It will not replace best of 3 permanently. No way, no how, no way, says Madness. We'll talk about that towards the end of stream. Turns out, best of one may be coming to paper in certain aspects. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But for now, let's move on. I don't think this card warrants that much more attention. We need to know about it, that they could potentially untap. But other than that, it's pretty hard. I like the card, but I don't know how much better it is versus some of the other effects we have for cheaper. All right, moving on to Persisters Petitioners. Did I say Persistent Petitioners? My bad. Persistent Petitioners. This is your Ravenous Rats, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, a blue Ravenous Rats. All right, so 1 blue, Rat Colony, because it's the 2 mana one. 1 black, 1 colorless. You get a 1/3, and it has the ability to pay 1 and tap it. Target player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target player puts the top 12 cards of their library into their graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Persistent Petitioners. Oh my goodness. Alright, so first off, that second ability does not care about haste, because each creature will be getting tapped from an alternate source, not just trying to tap itself. So you can turn 2, drop one of these, turn 3, drop another one of these, and activate the first one. Turn 4, drop 2 more of these, and then tap all 4 of them that turn to make them mill 12. Untap 12 more. That's 24. That's 25 cards pretty quick. And then plus you can play possibly 2 more that turn, and possibly another land, which you could tap, the new ones, use one of the land to tap one of the old ones. Yeah, that's a ton of, that's 26 cards, 27 if you count the one they draw. And we're on turn, what, 4? Turn 5? So they've drawn 4 more, 20, 31, plus drawing 7 for the game. 38 cards by turn 5. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So, what's up, Rocker? How you doing, McFats? What's up, McFats? What's up, Bill? How you doing, Bill? Um, does any other does any other card have a ripple for another creature? What? All right, I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. Anyway, I think the card's pretty cool. The speed on this card does look like it's about 38 cards in the first 5 turns if you're playing nothing else, and that is if you don't lose any of your advisors. You can't lose any of them in combat or in any other situation. So, are we doing a Deb spoilers list? This was Deb's spoiler, right? That's right. This was Deb's special spoiler. I forgot about that. That's right. I've seen it on Dev, but ripple 4, flip 4, and have any cards named the same. Oh, okay, whatever. All right, we are going to move on to the next card here. We get Sentinel's Mark. Sentinel's Mark. All right, this is a 2 mana. What is going on? We got an advertisement. There we go. We get a 2 mana enchantment aura with flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+2 and has vigilance. And it has addendum on it. When Sentinel's Mark enters the battlefield, if you cast this during your main phase, enchant creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Not bad. I mean, it's just a nice little bauble to put on cards, but I do like the flash aspect of it. We'll have to see if there's more tools to put towards these type of decks, but we could end up seeing some type of what is it? Not Champion of the Flame deck or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's people that like to play with the Boggles archetype, and Champion of Flame carries these things about as good as anything else in Standard right now. So we could see this in some type of little Boros build or something. You get to throw it on either Champion or Swiftblade Vindicator or something like that. Pretty sweet. The flash aspect would be better if it gave first strike instead of vigilance. Right, I can see that. I can see that. Next year we're going to go to, wow, what is it? Repudiate and Replicate? Alright. Alright, so we got another neck breaker here. This is Simic. This is the rare Simic one. Two Simic hybrid mana, or hybrid Simic mana. I don't know. Anyway, counter target activated or triggered ability. Well, this allows back, y'all. That's good, Kenneth. It is back. It is back. Rush, take care, sir. Headed to DC for a friend's baby shower. Well, you drive safe there, Rush. You be safe. Wow, counter target activated or triggered ability. Disallow without the counterspell part. Alright, well, I mean, you've got this 3 mana sorcery on the other side that says replicate. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. So, I mean, the back side, like you get to use the front side in this Thrun the last roll. You get to use this sweet replicate card, and then it has a stifle on the front side of it. 2 mana stifle. This card's this card might be real, guys. Planeswalker hate. That's right. I'm just sitting here waiting on you to ultimate that to fairy, and then I'm gonna stifle it, and it's all gone from there. I got a question for you. What happens if the ability goes onto the stack to sacrifice your opponent's creature, or something like that? Like you gain control of that creature, and then at the beginning of the next end step, you have to sacrifice that creature. do can you just counter your own ability? And I mean, you should be able to just counter that, right? And just keep the creature forever. Hmm. I don't know. I'll have to read the wording on the thief card that we get to steal their creature. But that'd be awesome if we could just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna stifle this. If you counter it, I'd assume you'd keep it. Well, so okay, Angrath might be a little bit different because Angrath just makes you sacrifice it if it's 3 or less. Either way, you're going to end up giving the creature back. Justin Clay says, "Yo, yo, what's up? I'm a little drunk." Oh, Justin, I hope you're not driving anywhere. And as long as you're safe, cheers, fella. Cheers. Um, um, yeah, Angrath's worded to the point where you're going to have to give it back at some point because, like, if it's a 4 converted mana cost creature, you have to give it back. Let's go take a look really quick at the Mockery card. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Bam, done. And then you would get the static effect of it gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. And then at the beginning of the next end step, you would get the delayed trigger of sacrifice it. That ability being put onto the stack to sacrifice it, you could stifle that, keep the creature forever. So I get your Carnage Tyrant. I might just keep your Carnage Tyrant. Huh. There's some thoughts. There's some thoughts. So stifle abilities are really, really powerful. This is just one effect that. What have I done? This is just one effect amongst many that you could use to like this nice little stifle card here. Oh goodness. Let's get back over to the spoilers. The spoilers. Kill Lyra, get Lyra, swing out. Yeah, I like it. I like it. You can't wait to see a great Rakdos build. There are definitely going to be some, Kenneth. Or, sorry, Justin. Kenneth, Sweet Grixis Tech with board wipes and Thought Erasers. Yeah. Because you could just use the blue cards on it, right? You're just sweeping the board, killing everything, and then kind of going from there. Either way, I think it's a pretty good card, and we might see a little bit of play out of that. It's definitely something to look out for if you're playing against those Merfolk decks. All right, next here we have oh man, I gotta pronounce that. Cavalcade, Cavalcade of Calamity. We're going to go with that. It's a 2-mana enchantment that whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. Whew. That could be mean. It could be very mean. So exactly. All of your little small tokens, your 1/1s and things like that. I don't think that you're going to want to. I don't think you're going to want to play with this in like a Binlish Marshall deck or a Venerated Loxodon deck because like you're just going to turn this off at some point. Oh right, there you go. I like where Madness is thinking. With Rakdos versus Boros, you get to play all of the little black creatures like Vicious Conquistador, and there's a ton of those that you might be able to play around with. There's some Afterlife creatures that have black. There's the 1/2, the 2-mana 1/2 that we seen yesterday that has Death Touch. You can keep getting in with that. That makes it deal 2 damage every time it swings. So you're basically turning everything into a Vicious Conquistador. Swinging with your Reassembling Skeleton, he still swings like a Vicious Conquistador. These things look pretty good. Like, this is just another nice little effect for you having all these little small aristocrat type creatures and stuff. So, yeah. Rocker Mage Slayer for 1 power dudes is as an enchantment. Yeah, pretty much. That's there you go, and you also get to swing at planeswalkers and do the same thing to them. So maybe Arcades for Super Jink. Yeah, but if you're using a lot of like I don't know, it just says that they deal combat damage with their steel power like 0 and 1. So maybe, yeah, yeah, that would work with Arcades. Because even though their power doesn't change, like it portrays on Arena, but so then this should work. Um, Cavalcade of Calamity. We probably need to keep our eyes on that one. All right, so this is the one that Cadito wanted us to look at. So here we go. Eyes everywhere. Man, what art. Man, that art is just awesome. All right, so that's my thoughts on the card. I really like the art. For some reason, it almost reminds me of some kind of like Van Gogh style. Uh, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It just has that feeling to me. All right. Anyway, we get a 3-mana enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Scry 1. All right, this is a decent effect. We've seen that on a lot of things before. But then we get a 6-mana ability. Exchange control of Eyes Everywhere and target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So I'll be glad when they just say this ability is sorcery speed, right? Just ignore everything else. This ability is sorcery speed. And then they get to reprint Quicken to say you may cast sorcery speed spells until end of turn or whatever. So as if they had flash. There you go. All right. You exchange control of this and something else. Now, this is kind of a weird enchantment, right? Because you take their best thing. They get your Eyes Everywhere. And if they have blue mana, they just give it back to you and take their dude back. Or their planeswalker back. You get this down, though, and then they get ready to ultimate Teferi, and you're like, okay, on my turn, I'm just going to take your Teferi, I'll uptick it, or I'll go ahead and ultimate your Teferi, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, my goodness. So you take their Teferi and use their Teferi down ticket to put this back in your library? Oh, yeah. All right, I see where you're going with that. Okay. That's good. I like that. I like that. This works great versus non-blue decks. Well, from that line, it looks like it might work pretty good against like Teferi decks. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not horrible at all. You can do this at instant speed. So like once you get it down, you can do this on... No, you can't do this in instant speed. I'm sorry. You can do this as a sorcery, so you can't... It would cost you 6 mana to take their Niv-Mizzet, and then they're just going to get it back. And then, back and forth, back and forth. There's a gray area. Red deck win also runs out of gas quick without Frenzy, and Golgari takes a little while to rebuild without card advantage. It does, but Fine Finale is a great piece of card advantage against decks that want to keep the board clean. Since you don't need the back half because they're sweeping the board for you, you get to use the front half to just like draw 2 cards, like 2 specific cards that you want from your graveyard. So Fine Finale is pretty good. Which is why Remorseful Cleric's bad, right? Like the only time Golgari really cares about using their graveyard is when they're against a control deck. And in a control deck, you don't really want to run Remorseful Cleric, so they're not really worried about using their Fine Finales to pull things back from the graveyard. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This card's pretty interesting. The fact that like most decks are going to have access to blue, that's going to be I mean, you're not going to have it for long, is what I'm going to say. Like, if you take something good of theirs, you're not going to have it for long. And then if you play anything good ever again, maybe they can answer their own thing, and then they just sit back and go, okay, when he ever plays something decent, or she ever plays something decent, I'm just going to take that thing, and then you get to go and get into a fight over each other's stuff. This would be a good card to play at the table at home, all right? Playing against your significant other, you're sitting around and like they finally play their bomb, the card that they know crushes you, and you're like, I'll take that. I don't mind if I do. So, oh, come on, Justin. Cleric good against Phoenix decks too, at least. So is Lava Coil. There's a ton of decks. Um, Honestly, you just like it scry. I don't mind. Like at the beginning of your upkeep, scry one. That's a good effect, and we've seen that stapled onto a bunch of cards over time. Um, so like, I don't know. The scry effect's pretty decent, but I think you're just gonna get into a really fun battle if you play the card and start stealing stuff. So, all right, Regenesis. I like the name of that card, Regenesis. 5 mana for an instant speed. Return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. All right, so these are permanents. I'm assuming that Ali Antrazi is already building a combo deck that breaks this. Um, so we'll see. It's instant speed, so you get to like use it at the end of their turn with some kind of like Teamer Thousand Year Storm deck, bringing back things, doing stuff, getting your Mirari's Conjecture and something else, and your Search for Escanta back or something like that. They do have to be permanents, which I don't know. I don't know if you like. I don't know how this works, but I'm sure there's some kind of combo around this. As we have like Nature's Claim, or I think it's not Nature's Claim. Nature's Revival or something like that in standard right now, which is just half of this at sorcery speed for 3 mana. So I don't know. This could get played in some type of combo deck. I like the fact that it's instant speed. So we'll see. You like the new Bolt? There might be a good straight burn deck possible. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still Spectacle and Sorcery Speed. Like, I really wish Spectacle would bypass timing effects, so that if it had a Spectacle cost and and they took damage on their turn, then I could like start just blasting off my stuff. I think that there would be a lot of play in that, but that might be too powerful. So. This returns Mirari's Conjectures and vice versa. Yes, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you would want to return, like, the combo deck would want to return, like, a Mirari's Conjecture and something else, and then you would use Mirari's Conjecture to get this back, and then you would use this to get back the Mirari's Conjecture and something else. So, probably not a horrible card. Again, I expect Ali Antrazi to break this card, so. Calling it now. This is an Ali Antrazi card. Instant Spectacle plus shock lands is a bad tap. Yes, you're right. It would just make them really consider: do I shock myself here? If I shock myself here against this, this one blood crypt that's open over here, like what could happen to me right now? He could thought seize me. He could bolt me. Like, there'd be a lot of things that could go bad. Things could go bad really quickly if Spectacle could break, casting timing restrictions. So, all right, let's go take a look at Forbidden Spirit. 3 mana, 3/3. I like that. Spirit Cleric. All right, when Forbidding Spirit enters the battlefield, until your next turn, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their creatures or their controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. Oh my goodness. This is a great tax effect. Yeah. I think mono white could get hated out of the format. I don't know. My question is what format, right? Currently on Arena, mono white is being hated out by everyone playing Deafening Clarions and Fire Cannonades and things like that main board. So, I mean, mono white could be hated out. Again, and as soon as you stop mainboarding those Deafening Clarions and things, you'll start running into the mono white again. So, I don't know. I remember, like, a lot of times you guys will hear me talk about Zendikar, but Zendikar Zombies was one of the most powerful decks that was in the format, but we were talking about it last night. There was this card named Pillar of Flame. All decks that had red in them carried some copies of Pillar of Flame, which shut down Giroff's Messenger, and because of that, Zombies was not actually considered a powerful deck in Innistrad block. Even though it was one of the most powerful decks that you could play, but because of the sheer amount of exile and card hatred that was being played for it, it shut the deck down. So yeah, I mean we could see mono white completely hated out of a format. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, because it has happened in the past that extremely powerful decks just completely hated out of format. So it just depends. If the removal spells that naturally hate on the mono white deck are also good versus the majority of other decks and are played a lot, then yeah, by just the naturality of deck building, yeah, certain decks are just going to be bad, no matter how powerful those decks are. And that's what we're always looking at. It's like, okay, yeah, well, this is a really good deck. Would I play it? No, because the deck is really bad in a format at a given time, and that actually doesn't say anything bad about the deck in general. It just means that most of the time we don't want to play that type of, like, a particular deck because everyone's got 4 copies of Lava Coil, or everyone's running 4 copies of Deafening Clarion, so I don't want to play an aggressive deck that doesn't grow above Deafening Clarion, that sort of thing. Jareth Miles says, I don't have a problem with mono white. Yeah, you're running mono red, which actually preys on mono white quite easily. Turn 1 Lava Runner, turn 2 Wizard's Lightning, and Spectacle Swing. +8, turn 3 Lightning, swing another 2, Spectacle and Shock, 10. Then Shock, Lightning Strike. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Just a ton of burn there. Who knows? Some decks, unfortunately, last forever. Kind of like Red Deck Wins. Yeah, Red Deck Wins is just a... I'm not going to say that Red Deck Wins is a deck. I know it's Red Deck Wins, but that's like the name we've given for an archetype. And that's just the name for mono red aggro, or mono red burn, when you just put some kind of combination of all of the fastest, meanest little red dudes you can, along with all of the red burn that you can affordably get away with playing. So yeah, mono red, it's not a deck, it's a lifestyle. That's all we need, Jared, is to hear about your lifestyle choices. When this enters the battlefield, like, all right, so this is not a permanent tax effect. I do want to point that out. It's only when it enters the battlefield. So, yeah. Let's move on from Forbidden Spirit to Clamor Shaman. All right, Clamor Shaman, a 3-mana 1/1 with Riot, so it could potentially be a 3-mana 2/2. Whenever it attacks, target creature and opponent control can't block this turn. Oh, so it's Goblin Tunneler. Why didn't they just print Goblin Tunneler? This is a Goblin Shaman. Is Goblin Tunneler just better than this card? I think Goblin Tunneler is like a 2-mana 2/2. That, when it enters the battlefield, maybe? I don't know. You just want to get to Platinum ASAP? I want to get through Platinum ASAP. Little Goblin, big noise. Sorry, that's my impression of the Gruul voice. Just want to get, yeah. Goblin Tunneler. I've got to look this up, guys. Good old Goblin Tunneler. Let's see what this is. Goblin Tunneler. I was wrong. It is a 2-mana 1/1. And Goblin Tunneler says, tap it. Target creature with power 2 or less can't block this turn. Okay. So this is a 3-mana 1/1 with, whenever it attacks, you're going to get the ability. Technically, it could be a 2/2. Still probably not a bad card, especially when they think they're going to block. They've got their Lyra there, and you're like, no, that Lyra is not blocking this turn. Check this out. Riot this in with haste. We're going to get in. That Lyra is not going to block, and you're just going to die. So yeah. Target creature and opponent control can't block this turn. What did I say about Tunneler? Does Goblin Tunneler make target creature unblockable? Is that what it is? Yeah, target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then this is target creature can't block. Yeah. Like an on-crop exert. Yeah. All right. I got you. Everything I said about this card still rings true, though. You still get to like play this against like their life link and stuff like that. So, all right. Let's move on from this card. It's pretty straightforward. Ooh, it's got gate in the name. Gatebreaker Ram. Gatebreaker Ram. Oh, it's a sheep. That's cool. 3-mana 2/2. Gatebreaker Ram gets +1/+1 for each gate you control. Holy cow, there's you a good payoff. Oh no. Oh no. Died to shock too, so. Oh, On-Crop Crasher died to shock? It did. But the amount of times I've been hit by an On-Crop Crasher because I didn't have a kill spell in time is unbelievable. Man, that red-black deck. Alright, so how many gates you gotta have before this is really good? So it's pretty good at 1 gate, right? Then like you start passing vanilla test. It's got more written to it. As long as you control 2 or more gates, it also has vigilance and trample. So it's going to be even harder to kill. So 3 you get, I mean, if you have 3 gates, you got a 3-mana 5/5. This might be enough of a payoff right here to run gates. Or this may be enough of a payoff for the gate deck to have an alternate win con other than just like, your guild summit or ever how you plan on winning. So 2 is good, but 3 is better, and it grows the more gates you get. Correct. It's not like an enter the battlefield, it gets +1/+1 counters based on the number of gates you have or something. No, this is a static effect. You got 4 gates, you play a 5th gate, bam, he gets his +1/+1 before, priority shifts. So, win con for gates. Yeah, I definitely think so. I like the card. I like the design of the card. It's just, naturally going to be big. There's not going to be that window to interrupt, it getting its growth. So, yeah. All in all, this is a really solid card for the Gates deck. Run 24 gates and run all the gate creatures just a turn behind. That's pretty much what Gates is going to be doing. This is a 4-mana card because you got to play on turn 4. We were looking at the Plaza of Harmony. Plaza of Harmony is going to be one of the few cards in those decks that come in untapped. I think it's going to be one of the cards that you're going to want to hang on to until the turn that you actually need to play something. So it's like, okay, I need to get this down on turn 3. I'll play my Plaza of Harmony on turn 3. So that I can actually play this card. Or, you got to do something special on turn 5 or something like that when you play your Plaza of Harmony on the turn that you really need to get, the major card in your hand down. So, plus the Gate Gargoyles could get really, really big. Well, I want to mention one other thing. We've seen the Sweeper for the Gates deck is going to do 1 damage per gate to all creatures, right? I think it's all creatures. I don't think it's just the creatures your opponent control, but 1 damage to each creature. and per gate. So Gatebreaker Ram will always be bigger than that because he's naturally a 2/2, and then he's going to get an extra +1/+1, so he'll be 2 larger than the sweeper. That's not nothing, right? What's up, Madness? I mean, Jack, how you doing? Russia has got a baby shower in D.C. He's got to go to, so he's going to be taking off from Philly or wherever he lives there in PA. All right, Gatebreaker Ram, pretty cool. Oh, another gate card, Gateway Sneak. Gateway Sneak. All right, 3 mana for a 1/3. Whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, Gateway Sneak can't be blocked this turn. Gateway Sneak deals combat damage to a player and draw a card. Oh yeah, I like drawing cards. I like creatures that can't be blocked. I like Curious Obsession. Like there's a lot I like about this card. I mean, if you're playing a lot of gate, this card might be really good. It's a little slow for my taste, but yeah. River Sneak grows, so I don't know if I would really call it a River Sneak, but this naturally draws the card. All you gotta do is get in. It's got the Curious Obsession attached to it. And you have Curious Obsession that turn, and you don't have to put extra investment in it like you do with Curious Obsession. Card, I have to have this card resolve on my creature, that sort of thing. Here, all you do is play land and enter combat. Like that seems pretty good, actually. Which cards from Ravnica Allegiance would you say are absolute staples for that deck? A standard Jund deck? Gruul Spellbreaker, probably a couple copies of Cinder Vines. If you can ever afford the double red, you may want the burn spell. I don't know, like, if I was going to build a standard Jund deck, I don't know if I would go with Explore or I would go with all the new Riot mechanics. I like the Explorer, effects of Wild Growth Walker and things like that. But I also really like everything Gruul's got going on. So a lot of the Riot cards look really good to me. But if you were going to take like a current Golgari deck that's a lot of Explore and Wild Growth Walker and things like that, and you were going to splash red to it, I think that the only red cards you might want would be like Spellbreaker. If you're going to get into that, you might want Banefire or something of that nature, and then not many other cards like Spellbreaker. There's something else. I can't think of it right now, but I had a couple cards that I was like, well, these would be like the only things I'd even want to put into Jund or Lava Coil, something like that. I don't think I would want a whole lot. All in all, I actually I want to play with more Sultai than I want to play with Jund. I just think that Golgari would fit better in a Sultai deck, whereas I think your Jund deck's probably going to be the Gruul deck Splash Black. So yeah, I think your Jund is actually not going to be Golgari Red. I think it's going to be Gruul Black. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Domri Raid and go heavy on creatures. Definitely. With Spellbreakers, and then maybe the other Riot card, the card that your creatures can't be countered and have Riot, or Cinder Vines, to be able to deal with decks that cast a bunch of spells. So anyway, that's a Gateway Sneak. I think Gateway Sneak might actually be a really good card. Resolute Watchdog. Aw, look at the puppy. That's what you say right as you walk up to a full-grown dog and get bit, right? Oh, it's a puppy. It's a 1-mana 1/3 Hound with Defender. Okay, you Arcades fans. Defender, 1 mana, sacrifice with Watchdog, and target creature you control gains indestructible till end of turn. Okay. All right. This pup will risk his life for you. He will jump in front of a bullet to save its master, right? So basically, you just give one of your creatures a pet dog, and the pet dog will protect him with its life. Such lore. Let's read the flavor text here. A friend in good times, a guardian in bad times, and a savior when all else fails. Aww. I wish I could do the whimpering sound of a dog right there. Right. This actually looks good. Yeah, it does look pretty good. The one power on defenders increase the usefulness of a defender 1,000-fold, right? Having a 0/3, yeah, your opponent's still going to keep swinging into it. They're going to swing with everything and be like, well, you can only block one, and it's not really going to do much. Whereas with a 1/3, it's like, no, I'm going to pick off things if you swing with everything. So, badass flavor text, says Jack. I think so. I think so. Pretty cool card. I like the design of it. I like the art. It's a good looking dog there, you know. Right? Okay. We're going to move on to Knight of the Last Breath. It's a giant knight. Well, it better be a giant, because that's a 7 converted mana cost up in that top right-hand corner, ladies and gentlemen. That's Orzhov colors and 5 colorless. You might not be able to see it, but I definitely want to point that out there. 7 mana for a giant knight that's only a 4/4. But it does have an ability. You can pay 3 mana, so, okay. Sacrifice, so a 10 mana investment to sacrifice another non-token creature, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token. It's got Afterlife 3, which means it does technically have 7 power spread out across multiple bodies that are not necessarily on the battlefield at all times. Oh, but it does have Sack a Dude, Make a Dude. 3 mana Sack a Dude, Make a Dude. Yeah, I actually like the dog, and the dog may see play. Yeah. Yeah, Arcades was the first thing I mentioned about the Watchdog. Yeah, this is a 10 mana investment to... well, actually, it's just a 7 mana investment for 7 power spread across 4 bodies. But, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this particular card. Like, maybe if for each creature in your graveyard or something, it got cheaper, but I don't know. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh. If you had sacked something with Afterlife 2 and you get 3 dudes, seriously? Right? I mean, that's true. So it gives everything that you sack Afterlife 1. That's basically what happens, is anything you sack with this ability has Afterlife 1. And it'll sack for you, so. I still don't think I want to play it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Alright, Sphinx of the Guild Pack. Love the border on this card. It's been a long time since we've seen a border that kind of looked like this. Artifact Creature Sphinx. Alright, Sphinx of the Guild Pack is all colors. What? 7 colorless mana for a 5/5. Hexproof from monocolored. This creature can't be the target of monocolored spells or abilities your opponents control. Oh my goodness. Alright. Alright. So you're going to need... Like, Vraska's Contempt can't deal with this. I mean, it's a flyer as well, right? Like, so it's also a flyer. Doesn't die to Doomblade. So, you're not going to be shocking this. Can this go into a non-5 color EDH deck? Yes, because I believe the effect on it is what makes it all colors. I want to say that it is still technically a colorless spell until it is on the battlefield, where the static effect takes control. But I think on the stack it's still a colorless. Maybe not. Maybe not. It doesn't have hexproof on the stack, right? So you can still counter it with a blue counterspell. It's still a 7-mana card that doesn't immediately win you the game. I'll pass. Madness. It seems like you're starting to come around. Yes, Dies to Bedeviled. That was the card I was trying to think of. You'll have to bedevil this. You can't murder it. You can't Vraska's Contempt. No Doomblade. So, no murder of any form. You will need multiple color spells to be able to deal with it. There's a couple that will deal with it. The Mortify will deal with it. It's still an artifact, so the red-green deck will, or the red-green card will deal with it. The split card, that destroys target artifact. So, yeah, there's a bunch of ways you could deal with this. So, yeah, Mortify. If it's all colors, it can't be played in EDH. Okay, fair enough. I'm not a big one on EDH, so I'd have to check the judges out for the ruling on this particular card. But I don't think it's actually all colors until it's on the battlefield, which means while it's in the deck, it's a colorless Sphinx of the Guild Pack. I don't think that Sphinx of the Guild Pack is all colors until it's on the battlefield. I don't know. But we'll find out. You think with all the new enchantments, Status Statue looks really good? Yeah, I think Status Statue is probably a decent card. It's 4 mana absolute kill to most things. So, all right, last card here, ladies and gentlemen. Sky Tether. That ain't Sky Tether. Sky Tether. Sky Tether is a 1 mana aura enchant creature. Enchanted creature has Defender and loses flying. What? Tie that griffin down. It's a leash that you put on flyers. It's like you can't fly no more. Get back down here. If you can't control your mount, I will control it for you. Aw, that's pretty good. I was just looking at the Sphinx card from a viewpoint of how cards are normally laid out. So I mean there may be some ruling in there I don't know about, but from the looks of it, it's not all colors until it's on the battlefield, which is where state-based effects can start checking cards. What were people's thoughts on Dev's spoiler? We didn't get a lot of feedback on it. Like there wasn't chat wasn't going wild over the fact that they could mill 38 cards in 5 turns. Like if a deck just full of islands and that, like 40 of those and 20 islands, and let's just say you hit your land drops because you're playing arena, and God knows you're going to hit your land drops on arena, or you're never going to hit them. One of the other, I don't know. Anyway, let's say you hit your land drops, and you are like playing these every turn with the maximum, maximizing mana usage, that sort of thing. You're going to mill 38 cards by the end of turn 5, and that's assuming they kept 7 off the draw. So some people will like it, some people won't. Some people don't like mill. Some people don't like playing mill. Some people don't like using that as a win con. So I don't know, but that's basically the gist of it. Mill plus unblockable creatures. Tetsuko. Yeah, there you go. A Tetsuko version of it, right? Alright, so this is just a little bit of removal. Giving a particular creature a defender might not help you win the game, but it will definitely help keep you from losing the game. There's been multiple times where, I've been playing around with the transmogrifying wand, and even though I got rid of something like a Niv Mizzet, I was still having a problem getting through a 2/4. So depending on where you put this and what deck you put this in, making their Lyra lose flying and gain defender ain't exactly going to break their heart when you're trying to get in with ground creatures, you know. So just want to point that out. But Sky Tether, not a horrible, horrible card. So um, should you run Underrealm Lich if Meal becomes popular? Um, you're playing Golgari, right? All right, so they can mill you 38 cards in 5 turns. You can swing. Let's say you really, really curve out. And you go Lana. I mean, if you're trying to be aggressive, you're going to go Llanowar into Jadelight Ranger. Um, let's see. Let's say you hit a perfect Christmas land. Jadelight Ranger swings for 4 on turn 3. You have 4 mana available on turn 3. Your best play is what? Branch Walker, or Wild Growth Walker, Branch Walker. Um, yeah, Wild Growth Walker, Branch Walker. You get a 3/2 and a 2/4, and you've done 4 points of damage. Now your turn 4, you're going to be swinging for another 8 points of damage. That takes them to 12. You need to apply a minimum of 4 more power to the battlefield on turn 5 to kill them before they can mill you out. I think you got good lines. I think you got good lines to just beat a mill deck, just outright without needing Lich's Mastery. And this is all before you could ever play Lich's Mastery, mind you. Like, or sorry, not Lich's Mastery, but under Realm Lich. So I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would run Under Realm Lich just to beat Meal. I think that the Golgari deck has enough aggressive lines to do some damage versus it as is. Sorry for stumbling through math there on stream, but you know, there you go. All right, let's talk about a little something else, right? I wanna hit chat up with something. Let's close this. We'll close this. Just want to take another quick 5 minutes of your time and check this out here. All right. All right. Got a little something here. So apparently this is floating around Reddit. I'm going to go ahead and disclaimer right now that I am not 100% sure this is real, but I'm about 85%. All right, so what this says, let's go ahead and let's make this a little bit bigger. And first off, I want to go ahead and say this is not me trying to be in the drama scene of Magic. It's not exactly what I'm trying to do here. I am just a little bit curious at what you guys think about this particular post. Hello, somebody. Want to be the first? Wanna be? Like, wouldn't it say I wanna be? Alright, so that's making me think this is fake. But this is floating around. I want to get everyone's opinion on it. If someone finds out that this is fake, please let me know in the comments. But this is floating around, and this is a lot of rumor floating around. So it's a big piece of controversy nonetheless. But I want to be among the first to try. Okay, it's asking them. Want to be among the first to try out a new format? Ooh. Okay, I get it. All right. We're inviting a small number of top-performing stores to playtest a new way to draft. Quick drafts, modeled after Magic the Gathering Arena. Players love this format on Arena, and we're hoping they'll love it as much in your store. Here's what we have in mind. Run quick drafts in each of your Friday Night Magic events this February. Here's how quick drafts work. Matches are single game. Instead of best 2 out of 3, we're going to be playing best of 1. Rounds are 20 minutes instead of 50 minutes, and limit rounds to 5 or 6 instead of 3 or 4. So more rounds in a draft. So you'll play more games, more rounds in your draft, but you won't play as many games per round. Players get a free mulligan each game to help mitigate mana issues. And for those of you that don't know, that's how Arena works. Arena takes 2 7-card hands. You get to keep the best of the 2 7-card hands. It's not exactly a free mulligan, right? Arena will actually pull up 14 cards and say, okay, which one of these has the best land to spell ratio? And then you get to keep that hand out of those 14 cards, where in paper you would look at 7. If that one's bad, you would look at 7 more. So you're still not going to get the arena, first 7, but whatever. And then it has, the goal is simple: play more, wait less. After the play test, we'll survey players and organizers to find out if it's as fun in stores as it is on Arena. If you have any questions, please check with the retail support team. So this is something that's going to possibly become a thing in your local gaming store, or your local Magic institution. And I was just a little bit curious at your guys' take on this. What does everyone think? Do you think that this is a good idea? Do you think this is a bad idea? I mean, what do you think about quick drafts in Arena right now? Like, would you like to do quick drafts in paper? Do you want to play a best of 1 format in paper? Why do you play, like, if you play best of 1 on Arena, why do you play best of 1? I'm curious, and if you're watching this afterwards, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear everyone's feedback, everyone's thoughts on this. Again, if this turns out to be a hoax, I would love to to have some confirmation on it. But I'm very curious, and this has been floating around, and there's been a lot of mixed reviews on this on Reddit and stuff from what I was reading. There's a lot more to read, so again, I still want to, you'll give this some more time to see where this goes. But could paper Magic be moving to a best of 1 scenario? Could we be changing the Vancouver mulligan rule into the Arena mulligan rule, where we get to look at 14 cards and see keep the best group of 7 out of those 14? So copyright is 2018. That's a really good point. 95 through 2018, Wizards of the Coast LLC, Hasbro. Does that mean their copyright's running out in 2018? They might have to re-up their copyright. I don't know. I don't know how copyrights work. I should, right? Anyway, we'll see. We will see where this goes. All right. You only play best of 1 if you don't have your sideboard built yet. All right. Okay. You'll never push out. It will never push out best of 3 for good, and you don't mind if this becomes a thing. Again, it will not kill or push out best of 3, but it'll be a new format. Well, I mean, some shops don't have enough players to play quick drafts and enough players to play a real draft, right? So what about the people who want to be playing real drafts, that sort of thing? What about the people that are coming from Arena and like, man, I'm going to draft this really cool deck. I draft it all the time on Arena. Like, it's just so easy to put this deck together. But then they sit down at a table with real human beings that are doing the drafting. And those human beings are like, yeah, I'm going to take this card. I'm going to be in this archetype. I'm still going to hate pull this over here because I don't want to play against it. That sort of thing. And like, you start playing against real players, the pickings are a lot slimmer. Like, you don't get to let things circle as much. Like, particular cards don't make it all the way around. They don't wheel the table and come back to you. Like, you can't wait as long to pull your removal spells, things like that. Whereas in Arena, you're playing against bots, and bots have a specific idea how they want to do things. So, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. So, Standard becomes best of one after Ixalan rotates out, or M19, calling it. So you think all of Standard becomes best of one? Mm. You could see this being real, like Eric said, coming from Arena. WotC needs a format for these people. That's right, and there's more of them than there are us. When I say us, I mean those people that are originally best of one players, or sorry, best of three players. Right now, there are more new people coming to Magic the Gathering than they currently are old people that are actively playing. Right? Um, that's that's a scary thought. Like the we're instantly the minority as far as people who have played Magic for, let's say, 5 years or more, right, or 2 or 3 years or more. We're instantly the minority, and the more people that are brought to Magic through Arena, or like we're going to be outnumbered more and more and more. So if Magic in general is meant to support, that player base, I mean, Wizards got to support their player base, and there's, again, more of them than there are us. So I don't know. I don't know where this goes, but we'll find out. I am sure. Jareth Miles thinks that everything will happen after rotation, so we'll see what happens. Either way, I think the next couple months, while we're still in this format, is going to be a ton of fun. So we'll see. When the new players scream, "This is boring, I don't want to do this," and the old players disagree, guess what happens? Well, everyone wants to see the new flashy, here, let's do this quick, quick fun Magic, right? Or you could go do traditional play. I don't know. Then we'll find out. We'll find out. You think most LGSs will not care about Magic the company? It won't have a lot of choice. As much as I would like to think that most LGSs and streamers and content providers and people of that nature get to go, I don't care about Wizards, I'm going to do my thing. Wizards still controls the atmosphere that we live in more ways than we would all care to admit. When you go to sanctioned events and things like that, if all of a sudden this stuff stops, like, there's still a lot of support that Wizards is putting out, and like I think that a lot of us might be a little bit quick to bite the hand that feeds us when it comes to Wizards and making our Magic cards, just because they're changing the type of food we're eating, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. Hopefully y'all can track my metaphors, but we'll see. You can't wait for Gruul to be real in the new format. Thinking of some 4-color climb deck. Okay. So what colors are you going to be if you're teamer? What teamer plus what color, Jack? Still have an option to run both BO3 and BO1. Do they? I mean, I guess you would have to be, like, I've been to a lot of local gaming stores. As I've traveled across the country, I always try to take a deck with me, and if I'm traveling on the weekend, I'd stop at an F&M and stuff. I find that really, really fun, showing up to new stores, and I plan on doing a lot of that in Dallas, going to different stores. But I've been to a lot of stores that could barely get a draft to fire off while any other event was going on, right? There's a ton of stores out there that are pretty small and don't have 40, 50 people showing up every night. So, like, if you've got a standard event going on, or a standard and a modern event going on for your F&M, and then you've got your drafters, which may only be 8 to 10 people, you're not going to be able to fire off a best of 3 draft and a best of 1 draft. If you're firing off best of 1 drafts, then you're probably not going to have enough people for the best of 3. And then if you're firing off best of 3 and you don't want to do the new best of 1 thing, Are you alienating like new customer base, or is your new customer base trying to get in arena? Do you get to start firing off these quick events later in the rounds because you're going to be able to have these quick events later in the rounds of your F&M? So as people start dropping out of F&M, they go jump into these quick drafts, things like that. I don't know. Like I I honestly don't know exactly where this goes, so we'll see. Um, does best of one also apply to standard as well? No, that only said for drafts and gave rules for drafts. So like I don't know if they're going to be trying a best of one um, scenario or not. So for the for not following the rules to lose your support, right? Yeah, it doesn't require a whole lot to lose your WPN support. Um, so I mean, like stores got to worry about that too. So I mean, again, it was an offer to try to run the new format. I think it's still up to the stores to decide which format they run. So the stores might want to, continue doing best of three. If you guys do go look into the, articles and some of the comments and stuff like that on the Reddit post, and you can find it very easy. Um, so anyway, like if you do go look at it, there's a lot of people saying that like most people only play best of one for the fact that it's easy to play on arena. Like the only reason they're doing best of one is because that's how you wash gems. So since that's the only way to wash gold into gems, then that's pretty much like inflating the numbers of people that are playing that particular format. And maybe that's why arena is showing that so many people like best of one quick drafts, but in all reality, it's just so that they can snag cards from bots and wash their gold into gems. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, what will they do? Win a round? Win a pack for 6 quick rounds? No, they'll hand out crappy promos nobody wants, like Brass's Bounty. That's possible. I don't want to gripe about promos too much because we've had some really crappy ones in the past, but sometimes there's some really good ones, and the fact that there's promos available at all is a good thing. Um, have long been part of Magic, and now that I've said that, that's even more reason for them to fade away. Seems like the things we've had the most are the things that we're losing, and I don't want to sound like too pessimistic here, but I really don't want to be in a competitive scenario playing best of one. I really don't. So I don't know. Anyway, um, so no fear of best of one in your store, huh? GP and PPTQ grinders. Well, you got a pretty nice shop to play in then, James. Man, remember player rewards? Yeah, you remember? Yeah, well, whatever. Getting sent promo cards every month. That's right, people. At one point, Wizards would send every player a card in the mail every month. Like every player that had player rewards, anyway. Um, and then sometimes like they would send them to the shops, and everyone that was signed up at that shop would get their cards. So it was just different, but I don't know. Magic's come a long way since the beginning days, and I'm not going to say that that's better or worse, but still. You never want to play best of one since luck will be a majority factor over half of the time. Yeah. Best of one feels lacking. Yeah, best of one feels like drawing a poker hand. Um, it really feels like Texas Hold'em or 5 card draw, 7 card draw, something like that. I'm going to draw these cards, and if they're good, then we'll see if my straight flush beats your lower straight flush, or your 4 of a kind wins. Like let's see if I can somehow defy all the odds and beat your nut draw over there. And I don't know. It's like, for a lack of better term, and this is kind of being punny, but you know, in best of one, you're basically going nut draw versus nut draw, and you know, seeing which ones you know, got the better one. Anyway, you know, let's see. That's your main issue, is you want the opponent to see all of your cards in round one. How many times in best of one have you not seen a card you run the full set of? Quite occasionally, McFats. You know, those games do happen, that you know, you actually don't find certain cards in your deck. You know, the amount of times where I've won with just never seeing a Tempest Gen or something like that's been, you know, huge. Whereas it's also, you know, I've played games where it's like, if I could only see a Tempest Gen, I would win this, and you still don't see a Tempest Gen, and you're drawing a bunch of cards. But then there's other games where you're like, I've never seen a single counter spell, and I've got a playset of Wizard's Retort, and I've got, you know, other counter spells, you know, various other counter spells in the deck. So that's like 8 cards, and you still just never seen a counter spell the entire game. You know, those games happen too. So I'm not going to say that, like, you know, that's like an arena shuffler thing or whatever. But yeah, turning the game into a big paper rock scissors best of one feast or fest doesn't really seem like where I want to be, guys. I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't want that to happen to the paper magic world. Like, I am so looking forward to getting back into paper magic again, come this summer. Whereas as of right now, I don't know. Like, if it becomes best of one, I don't know if I want to get back into paper, and at that point, I might as well just play all Magic on Arena. So we'll see. That's gonna do it for me as well, guys. Our spoiler video went on a little bit longer than I wanted it to. We talked about the Arena best of one thing. Are we going to start seeing that in paper magic? You know, we'll see. If people start running quick drafts at your LGS, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let us know how that works. Are people at your LGS loving it? Did you play it? Did y'all have a lot of fun? Because those are the key things. People will pay money for good entertainment. So if you had fun playing these really quick games, worrying about the clock because, you know, it's only 20 minutes and you're in paper magic, and, you know, and like you're having to go through the steps and stuff like that, like, was it fun for you? And if it is fun, then that's pretty much like the big answer we really want to hear. So let me know in the comments, like, if, first off, if your store is going to do it. Second off, if you play in it, did you enjoy it? And if you did or didn't, why? So also, if you've got any comments on any of the cards that we talked about tonight, the spoilers, please leave those in the comments as well. That's all I've got. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Sideboard MTG here on YouTube Gaming. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. And we'll see you next time.